The French Revolution, a seismic event in human history, emerged from a volatile mix of socio-political factors that had simmered for centuries in France. The absolute monarchy, embodied by King Louis XVI, faced mounting challenges as discontent brewed among the populace. The ancient regime, characterized by entrenched privilege and hierarchical social structures, fostered resentment and inequality, exacerbating tensions between the nobility, clergy, and commoners. Economic woes further fueled the flames of revolution. France's economy struggled under the weight of debt, exacerbated by costly foreign wars and extravagant court spending. The burden of taxation fell disproportionately on the lower classes, who endured poverty, hunger, and social deprivation while witnessing the ostentatious displays of wealth enjoyed by the nobility and clergy. The intellectual ferment of the Enlightenment era also played a pivotal role in shaping revolutionary ideals. Philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu challenged traditional notions of authority and hierarchy, advocating for principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Their ideas permeated French society, inspiring a generation of thinkers, activists, and revolutionaries to envision a more just and egalitarian future. The French Revolution unfolded in stages, marked by key events such as the storming of the Bastille, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, and the Reign of Terror. These tumultuous years witnessed the rise and fall of radical political factions, the overthrow of the monarchy, and the execution of King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette. The revolution culminated in the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, who seized power and established himself as emperor, bringing an end to the revolutionary era. The legacy of the French Revolution reverberates through the annals of history, inspiring subsequent movements for democracy, human rights, and social justice worldwide. While it unleashed unprecedented violence and upheaval, the revolution also heralded the dawn of modernity, challenging entrenched power structures and laying the groundwork for the emergence of democratic governance and civil liberties. The fiscal crisis that gripped France in the late 18th century was a pivotal catalyst for the eruption of the French Revolution. Years of financial mismanagement, exacerbated by France's involvement in costly wars, including its support for the American Revolution against Britain, had left the royal treasury depleted and the country burdened with staggering levels of debt. The French monarchy, under King Louis XVI, found itself teetering on the brink of bankruptcy with no clear solution in sight. In a desperate attempt to address the nation's dire financial situation, King Louis XVI reluctantly summoned the Estates General, an assembly representing the three traditional estates of French society: the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. This decision, though intended to solicit solutions to the fiscal crisis, inadvertently unleashed a wave of popular discontent and revolutionary fervor. The convening of the Estates General in May 1789 marked a historic moment in French history, as representatives from all corners of society converged in Versailles to deliberate on matters of taxation, representation, and governance. However, tensions quickly escalated as delegates from the Third Estate, representing the common people, demanded greater political rights and challenged the privileged status of the nobility and clergy. The failure of the Estates General to reach consensus, coupled with the growing frustration of the common people, led to the formation of the National Assembly, a revolutionary body committed to enacting sweeping reforms and asserting the sovereignty of the people. The storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, symbolized the outbreak of popular revolt and marked the beginning of the French Revolution in earnest. The fiscal crisis, exacerbated by France's involvement in foreign conflicts and exacerbated by years of social and economic inequality, served as the spark that ignited the flames of revolution. The convocation of the Estates General, intended to address the nation's financial woes, inadvertently unleashed forces that would ultimately reshape the course of French history and reverberate across the globe. The declaration of the National Assembly by the Third Estate on June 17, 1789, marked a pivotal moment in the French Revolution. Frustrated by the entrenched privileges of the nobility and clergy, as well as their own lack of representation, the delegates representing the common people took matters into their own hands. By declaring themselves the true representatives of the nation, they asserted the principle of popular sovereignty and challenged the absolute authority of the monarchy. The storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, stands as one of the most iconic events of the French Revolution. This fortress, seen as a symbol of royal tyranny and oppression, became the focal point of popular discontent and rebellion. The fall of the Bastille was not just a military victory, it was a symbolic triumph of the people over despotic rule. Its capture unleashed a wave of revolutionary fervor across France as citizens rose up against the ancient regime and demanded radical change. The aftermath of the storming of the Bastille witnessed a series of transformative reforms that reshaped French society and governance. Feudal privileges were abolished, and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was adopted, proclaiming the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity as the foundation of the new republic. However, the revolution also descended into violence and turmoil as rival factions vied for power and ideological purity. The execution of King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette in 1793 marked the climax of the revolution's radical phase. The monarchy was abolished, and France was declared a republic, ushering in a period of radical social and political experimentation. Yet, the revolution's ideals of liberty and equality were often betrayed by the excesses of revolutionary zeal, as political repression, factional infighting, and the reign of terror claimed the lives of thousands. In summary, the French Revolution was a tumultuous and transformative period in French history, marked by popular uprisings, radical reforms, and violent upheaval. It began as a struggle for political rights and representation, but quickly escalated into a far-reaching social and political revolution that forever altered the course of French society and reverberated across the globe. As France grappled with internal upheaval, external powers, particularly neighboring monarchies, eyed the revolutionary fervor with suspicion and concern. The revolutionary government, led by factions such as the Jacobins and Girondins, found itself embroiled in a struggle for survival against both domestic counter-revolutionaries and foreign invaders. In response to these threats, the government implemented increasingly radical measures aimed at consolidating power and securing the revolution. The Reign of Terror, a period of extreme political repression and violence, epitomized the dark side of the French Revolution. Led by figures like Maximilien Robespierre, the Committee of Public Safety wielded near dictatorial authority, overseeing mass executions and purges of perceived enemies of the revolution. The guillotine became a grim symbol of state terror, as thousands of individuals, including former nobles, clergy, and political opponents, met their fate on the scaffold. Despite the turmoil and bloodshed, the French Revolution left an enduring legacy that reshaped the political landscape of Europe and beyond. Its ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity inspired future generations to challenge oppressive regimes and fight for social justice. The revolution's principles laid the groundwork for the emergence of modern democracy and nationalism, as well as movements for women's rights, workers' rights, and civil liberties. Moreover, the French Revolution sparked a wave of revolutionary fervor that swept across Europe and the Americas in the 19th and 20th centuries. From the Haitian Revolution to the Latin American Wars of Independence, oppressed peoples around the world drew inspiration from the French Revolution's struggle against tyranny and oppression. its legacy continues to resonate in struggles for human rights, democracy, and freedom, serving as a reminder of the enduring power of revolutionary ideals to shape the course of history. The aftermath of the French Revolution saw the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, whose military prowess and political ambition transformed France and much of Europe. Napoleon's ascension to power marked the culmination of the revolutionary upheaval and the beginning of a new era characterized by Napoleonic wars and imperial expansion. Under his rule, France experienced both unprecedented military victories and profound social and administrative reforms, including the Napoleonic Code, which codified principles of civil law and equality before the law. The Napoleonic Wars, waged across Europe from 1803 to 1815, reshaped the continent's political landscape and left an indelible mark on European history. Napoleon's quest for hegemony sparked widespread conflict and upheaval as rival powers sought to contain his ambitions and preserve their own sovereignty. The wars resulted in millions of casualties, widespread destruction, and profound social and economic dislocation, fundamentally altering the balance of power and the dynamics of international relations. Despite Napoleon's eventual defeat and the restoration of the Bourbon monarchy in France, the legacy of the French Revolution endured. Its principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity continued to inspire movements for political reform, social justice, and national liberation throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. The revolutionary ideals of democracy, human rights, and popular sovereignty reverberated far beyond France, fueling struggles for emancipation and self-determination in colonies and oppressed nations around the world. In modern France, the legacy of the French Revolution remains deeply ingrained in the national consciousness and cultural identity. Bastille Day, commemorating the storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, serves as a symbol of national unity and republican values. The principles of liberté, égalité, fraternité, liberty, equality, fraternity, are enshrined in the French national motto and continue to guide the country's democratic institutions and social policies. In conclusion, the French Revolution stands as a defining moment in human history, embodying the aspirations and struggles of people for freedom, equality, and human dignity. Its complex legacy, marked by triumphs and tragedies, continues to shape the political, social, and cultural landscape of modern France and the world, reminding us of the enduring quest for justice and the power of collective action to effect meaningful change.